Welcome to Outlaws and Gunslingers. From the Wild West to the rise of organized crime during the Prohibition, all the way up to today, America has had criminals, gangs, and law enforcement trying to bring them down. Join us as we profile some of the most infamous criminals, gangsters, outlaws, and lawmen in American history. True crime like you've never heard it before. Ladies and gentlemen, here are your hosts, Bang and Dang.
The Altamont Speedway Free Festival was a counterculture rock concert in the United States held on Saturday, December 6, 1969 at the Altamont Speedway outside of Tracy, California. Approximately 300,000 people attended the concert, with some anticipating that it would be a Woodstock West, which the Woodstock Festival had just taken place in Bethel, New York in mid-August, almost 4 months earlier. According to Jefferson Airplane, Spencer Dryden, the idea for a kind of Woodstock West began when he and bandmate Jorma Kaukonen discussed the staging of a free concert with the Grateful Dead and Rolling Stones in Golden Gate Park. Referring to the Stones, Dryden said, next to the Beatles, they were the biggest rock and roll band in the world, and we wanted them to experience what we were experiencing in San Francisco.
Plans being finalized. Jefferson Airplane, they were on the road. Early December, they were in Florida, believing the concert plans for Golden Gate Park were proceeding. But by the 4th of December, the plans had broken down. Paul Kattner's account, because the city and the police departments were unhelpful. Innate conflict between the hippies of Haight-Ashbury and the police was manifested in obstructiveness. Sonoma Raceway was then the venue, but its owners wanted $100,000 in escrow from the Rolling Stones.
Jeez.
And the Stones are probably like, what?
Well, yeah, because the Rolling Stones are probably known to put on some rowdy-ass concerts. At the last moment, Dick Carter offered his Altamont Speedway in eastern Alameda County for the festival. Jefferson Airplane flew out of Miami on December 5th. Kantner said the location was taken into a spirit of desperation. There was no way to control it, no supervision or order. According to Grace Slick, the vibes were bad. Something was very peculiar. Not particularly bad, just real peculiar. It was that kind of hazy, abrasive, and unsure day. I had expected the loving vibes of Woodstock, but that wasn't coming at me. This was a whole different thing.
Yeah, that's rough, bud. Holy shit. During the Rolling Stones' 1969 tour of the United States, many, including journalists, they felt that the ticket prices were far too high, like the Lions when they were a good team.
Right.
In answer to this criticism, the Rolling Stones decided to end their tour with a free concert in San Fran.
Oh, good for you.
The concert, originally scheduled to be held at at San Jose State University's practice field, as there had recently been a 3-day outdoor free festival there with 52 bands and 80,000 attendees. They're like, well, that seems decent. Dirt Cheap Productions was asked to help secure the property again for the Rolling Stones and Grateful Dead to play a free concert.
The Stones and the Dead were told the city of San Jose was not in the mood for another large concert, and the grounds were out of bounds.
Yeah.
Golden Gate Park in San Francisco was next on the list. However, a previously scheduled Bears-49ers football game at Kazar Stadium, located in Golden Gate Park, made that venue impractical, and permits were never issued for the concert.
Damn right.
The venue was then changed to the Sears Point Raceway near Sonoma. Jeez.
Holy shit. I mean, come on.
Just be at Woodstock and go in the middle of the field somewhere.
However, a dispute with Sears Point owner Filmways Inc. arose over a $300,000 upfront cash deposit from the Stones and film distribution rights. Oh. So the festival was once again...
Why is it only the Stones that got to put up money? What the fuck?
I know about Grateful Dead and...
Jefferson Airplane.
I'm
and
sure there's all other kinds.
5 more bands that were supposed to play.
Altamont Raceway, just outside of Tracy, chosen as a suggestion of its owner, local businessman Dick Carter. Concert was to take place on a Saturday, December 6th. Location was switched on the night of Thursday, December 4th. Holy shit.
On making preparations, Grateful Dead manager Rock Scully and concert organizer Michael Lang helicoptered over the site before making the selection, much as Lang had done when the Woodstock Festival was moved at the last moment from Wallkill to Bethel. Did Rolling Stones play Woodstock?
I don't know. Maybe.
The hasty move resulted in numerous logistical problems, including a lack of facilities, such as portable toilets and medical tents. The move also created a problem for the stage design. Instead of being on top of a rise, which characterized the geography at Sears Point, at Altamont, the stage would now be at the bottom of a slope. Oh, that's not good. People can just literally walk right up on it.
Oh. Rolling Stone stage manager, 1969 tour, Chip Monk. He explained that the stage was 1 meter high, 39 inches for us, and at Sears Point, it was on top of a hill, so all the audience pressure was back upon them, right? Because of the short notice for the change of location, the stage could not be changed. He goes on to say, we weren't working with scaffolding. We were working in an older fashion with parallels. You could probably have put another stage below it, but nobody had one.
Okay. Well, because the stage was so low, members of the Hells Angels Motorcycle Club, led by Oakland chapter boss Sonny Barger, were asked to surround the stage to provide security. By some accounts, the Hells Angels were hired as security by the management of the Rolling Stones on the recommendation of the Grateful Dead and Jefferson Airplane, who had both previously used the Angels for security at performances without incident.
Right.
And they were purportedly paid $500 worth of beer just to do it.
I guess it's for you.
1969?
Right. Well, this story has been denied many times by some parties who were directly involved. According to road manager of the Stones' 1969 tour, Sam Cutler, the only agreement there ever was, the Angels would make sure nobody tampered with the generators. But that was the extent of it. But there was no way they're going to be the police force or anything like that. That's all bollocks.
That's all bullshit. The deal was made at a meeting including Cutler, Grateful Dead manager Rock Scully, and Pete Nell, a member of the Hells Angels San Francisco chapter. According to Cutler, the arrangement was that all the bands were supposed to share the $500 beer cost, but the person who paid it was me, and I never got it back to this day, said,
Oh, he's pissed about that.
Who said that?
Cutler.
Hells Angels member Bill Sweet William Fritch recalled this exchange he had with Cutler at a meeting prior to the concert in which Cutler had asked them to provide security. He said, "We don't police things. We're not a security force. We go to concerts to enjoy ourselves and have fun. Well, what about helping people out, giving directions and things? Sure, we can do that."
Right.
When Cutler asked how they would like to be paid, William replied, "We like beer."
Right.
In the documentary Gimme Shelter, Sonny Barger states that the Hells Angels were not interested in policing the event, and that the organizers had told him that the Angels would be required to do little more than sit on the edge of the stage, drink some beer, and make sure there were not any murders or rapes occurring.
I guess, right?
Murders or rapes, huh? What kind of concerts are you guys putting on?
2009, Cutler explained his decision to use the Angels. He says, I was talking with them because I was interested in security of my band. Everyone's security, for that matter. In the country of the blind, the one-eyed man is king. They were the only people who were strong and together. They had to protect the stage because it was descending into absolute chaos. Who was going to stop it?
Who are you going to call? Hells Angels.
Yeah.
Grateful Dead manager Rock Scully said if the Angels hadn't been on the stage, the whole crowd would have easily passed out and rolled down onto the stage.
Right.
There was no barrier. Stefan Ponick, who helped organize the event, hosted a December 7, 1969 KSAN FM radio broadcast of a 4-hour day after post-concert telephone call. He provided the following for the 2000 release of the Gimme Shelter DVD. He said, what we learned in the broadcast was pretty much startling. These guys, the Angels, had been hired and paid with $500 a beer on a truck with ice to essentially bring in the Stones and keep people off the stage. That was the understanding. That was the deal. And it seemed like there was not a lot of disagreement over that. That seemed to emerge as fact because it became rather apparent that the Stones didn't know what kind of people they were dealing with.
Right. I mean, come on. Holy shit.
But first of all, this has got to put in perspective, why does everybody want money up front for the Stones? What kind of concerts do these motherfuckers put on? What kind of people are they attracting?
Right. The Gimme Shelter DVD contains extensive clips from the broadcast. A Hells Angels member who identified himself as Pete from the Angels San Francisco, the most likely Pete Nell, president of San Francisco chapter, he said that they offered us $500 worth of beer to go there and take care of the stage. We took this $500 worth of beer to do it. Sonny Barger, who also called into the KSAN forum, he said, we were told by one of the other Hells Angels clubs if we showed up down there and sat on the stage and drank some beer, that the Stones manager or somebody had bought for us.
Okay. In his lengthy call, Barger mentions the beer deal yet again. I ain't no cop. I ain't never gonna pretend to be no cop. I didn't go there to police nothing, man. They told me if I could sit on the edge of the stage so nobody could climb over me, I could drink beer until the show was over. And that's what I went there to do. Fuck it.
Right. A woman who called into the program revealed that she had seen at least 5 fistfights from her vantage point of view near the stage and that the Angels were involved in every single one of them. She also described a general uncaring attitude toward people who clearly needed help. There was a girl who was dragged across the stage by her hair. There was another one who was on a bad acid trip. Bystanders kicked and walked on her.
Jeez.
She said that she felt like having the Angels there at security was an irresponsible move because we were all in terror of them.
All in terror of them? Okay.
I just don't like big bikers.
When she tried to speak about this at the concert, she was warned to be quiet by the people around her for fear of being beaten.
Oh.
At this point, KSAN's Scoop Nisker mentioned the bystander effect and the murder of Kitty Genovese. So individuals are less likely to offer to help a victim or present for other people. Right. Emmett Gorgon, the founder of the radical community action group The Diggers, who was intimately involved in the organization of the event, confirmed that the $500 beer arrangement on that same KSN form with Ponick. Okay, so they got paid.
Right.
Why is the big dispute $500 beer? Who gives a shit?
Everybody knows. Pete, he also tells the host Ponick that the Angels were hired by Cutler because of some rowdy, anxious on-stage incidents during the Stones' Oakland and Miami concerts weeks earlier. Security guards, Pete said, we ain't into that security, but that they agreed to offer beer, blah, blah. He also claimed that other than being told to just keep people off the stage, Cutler gave the Angels very little specific instructions for stage security. He says they didn't even say anything to us about any of that. And although Angels are not security guards, he also said, if we say we are going to do something, we do it. If we decide to do it, it's done, no matter what, how far we have to go to do it. Ooh. The similar lack of detailed security instructions by the concert's management was also mentioned by old Sonny Badger.
All right, Altamont Speedway owner Dick Carter had hired hundreds of professional plainclothes security guards, ostensibly more for the purpose of protecting his property rather than the safety and well-being of the concert goers.
Yeah, so that should be up to him. This guy should have done it.
Barger mentions these guards as identified by their wearing of little white buttons. Political scientist and cultural critic James Miller believes that since Ken Kesey had invited the Hells Angels to one of his outdoor acid tests, the hippies had viewed the bikers unrealistically, idealizing them as noble savages and thus outlaw brothers of the counterculture.
Wow. Miller, he also maintains that the Stones may have been misled by their experience with a British contingent of the self-described Hells Angels, a non-law group of admirers of American biker gear who had provided non-violent security at a Free Stones concert earlier that year in Hyde Park, London. Cutler, however, he denies ever having any illusions about the true nature of Californian Hells Angels. That's another canard foisted on the world by the press, he said. But Rock Scully remembers explaining to the Stones what the real Angels were like after watching the Hyde Park concert.
Yeah, we already know the
like
California ones are.
Right. He's like, these ain't these guys. Trust me.
Well, the first act on stage that day, Santana,
Fantastic.
gave a performance and generally went smoothly. Because I'm so smooth. Oh, look at that. However, over the course of the day, the mood of both the crowd and the Angels became progressively agitated and violent. Wow. The Angels had been drinking their free beer all day in front of the stage, and most were very drunk. The crowd had also become antagonistic and unpredictable, attacking each other, the Angels, and the performers.
Oh, wow.
A Mick Jagger biographer, Anthony Scaduto, and Mick Jagger, Everybody's Lucifer, wrote that the only time the crowd seemed to calm down to any degree was during a set by the country rockin' Flying Burrito Brothers.
Nice.
Yeah, they probably jammed out, dude.
Fuck yeah, I like it. Well, however, Denise Jukes, lead singer of the local San Francisco rock band, the Ace of Cups, 6 months pregnant, hit in the head by an empty beer bottle thrown from the crowd and suffered a skull fracture.
Damn.
Stones later paid for all of her ambulance and medical services. The Angels proceeded to arm themselves with sawed-off pool cues. Ooh, that's illegal. And also motorcycle chains to drive the crowd further back from the stage. After the crowd, perhaps accidentally, toppled one of the Angels' motorcycles. Oh, shit.
Well, it's your own fault for parking them in the middle of the damn concert.
Well, you know what happened then? The Angels became unglued, and they became even more aggressive, including towards the performers. Oh, shit. Here we go.
Marty Balin of the Jefferson Airplane jumped off the stage to try to sort out the problem, only to be punched in the head and knocked unconscious by an Angel during the band's set.
Oh, shit.
When Jefferson Airplane guitarist Paul Kantner sarcastically thanked the Angels for knocking the singer out, Angel Bill Fritsch took a hold of a microphone and argued with him about it.
Oh, no.
The Grateful Dead had been scheduled to play between Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Young and the Rolling Stones.
See. Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Young?
That's a hell of a contrast between the other bands.
You ain't kidding.
But after hearing about the Balin incident from Santana drummer Michael Shreve, they refused to play and left the venue, citing the quickly degenerating security situation.
I
bet. During Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Young set, Steven Stills was reported to be repeatedly stabbed in the leg by a stoned-out Hells Angels with a sharpened bicycle spoke. Oh, my gosh.
Shit.
What the hell?
It's probably just for fun.
Probably. That hurt. Oh, that hurt.
Oh, well, let's see you play now. Man. By the time the Stones took the stage, I'm surprised they even did. And this was an early evening. The mood had taken a decidedly ugly turn as numerous fights had erupted between Angels and the crowd. And within the crowd itself, these guys are just, oh, man. The Rolling Stones waited until sundown to perform. Stanley Booth stated that the part of the reason for the delay was that Bill Wyman had missed a helicopter. He needs to get here quick.
You gotta get here.
He's like, I didn't miss that son bitch.
I just didn't want to go.
When the Stones began their set, a tightly packed group of between 4,000 to 5,000 people were jammed to the very edge of the stage, and many attempted to climb onto it. Damn, dude.
Rolling Stones lead singer Mick Jagger, who had already been punched in the head by a concert goer within seconds of emerging from his helicopter, was visibly intimidated by the unruly situation and urged everyone to just be cool down in the front there. Don't push around. During the third song, Sympathy for the Devil, that's when a fight erupted in the front of the crowd at the foot of the stage, prompting the Stones to pause their set while the Angels restored order.
Oh, my goodness. This is just After a lengthy pause and another appeal for calm, the band restarted the song and continued their set with less incident until the start of Under My Thumb.
Under my thumb.
At this very point, some of the Angels got into a scuffle with Meredith Hunter, which was an 18-year-old who attempted to get on stage with other fans. One of the Angels grabbed Hunter's head, punched him, chased him back into the crowd. After a minute's pause, Hunter returned to the stage where, according to Gimme Shelter producer Porter Bibb, Hunter's girlfriend Patty Bredhoft found him and tearfully begged him to calm down and move further back into the crowd with her. But he was too enraged, he was irrational, and so high he could barely walk, and you couldn't tell him nothing.
Right. Well, Rock Scully, who could see the audience clearly from the top of the truck by the stage, said of Hunter, I saw what he was looking at, that he was crazy, he was on drugs, and that he had murderous intent.
Oh, shit.
There was no doubt in my mind that he intended to do terrible harm to Mick or somebody in the Rolling Stones, or somebody on that stage.
Or Angels.
Right. Following his initial scuffle with the Angels as he tried to climb on stage, Hunter, as seen in concert footage, wearing a bright lime green suit, returned to the front of the crowd and drew a long-barreled .22 caliber revolver from inside his jacket.
Shit, this dude.
He was gonna do something. All right.
Holy shit. Angels member Alan Pissarro, seeing Hunter drawing his revolver, drew a knife from his belt and charged Hunter from the side, knocking away Hunter's pistol with his left hand and stabbing him twice with his right hand, killing him.
Damn.
Footage shot by Eric Serinin, who was on stage taking pictures of the crowd, and Baird Bryant, who climbed atop a bus. This also appears in the Gimme Shelter documentary. Serinin was unaware of having caught of the killing on film. Oh, shit.
Well, this was discovered more than a week later when raw footage was screened in the New York offices of the Maisleys brothers. In the film sequence, lasting about 2 seconds, a 2-meter, 6-foot opening in the crowd appears, leaving Bredhoft in the center. Hunter enters the opening from the left. His hand rises toward the stage, and the silhouette of a revolver is clearly seen against Bredhoft's light-colored vest. Pissarro is seen entering from the right and delivering 2 stabs with his knife as he parries Hunter's revolver and pushes him off the screen. The opening then closes around Bredhoft.
Wow, Pissarro, he was reported to have stabbed Hunter 5 times in the upper back. Ooh,
got his lungs probably.
Yeah. Although only 2 stabs were visible in the footage. Witnesses also reported Hunter was stomped on by several Angels while he was on the ground. Oh, I bet. The gun was recovered and turned over to the Popo. Hunter's autopsy confirmed he was high on meth when he died. Pissarro, he was arrested, tried for murder in summer of 1971. But guess what? Acquitted after a jury viewed concert footage.
He's a hero.
Showing Hunter brandishing a revolver and killing their beloved Mick Jagger, attempting to kill.
Right.
This concluded that Pissarro acted in self-defense.
Sure did. The Rolling Stones were aware.
Is it self-defense or is it like
either or self-defense.
Community defense or something like that?
Defending something, right. The Rolling Stones were aware of the skirmish, but not the stabbing. You couldn't see anything. It was just another scuffle, Jagger tells David Masalis during film editing. But it soon became apparent that they could see something of what had happened because the band stopped playing mid-song and Jagger was heard calling into his microphone, "We've really got someone hurt here. Is there a doctor?" "Hi, everybody."
Right.
After a few minutes, the band began playing again and eventually completed their set.
And Mick's like, "Hey, Dr. Nick."
Jagger told Maisleys, right? They all agreed that if they abandoned the show at that point, the crowd would have become even more unruly, perhaps degenerated into a full-scale riot.
You know, it's a free concert and shit. Shit's happen like that. Why stay on stage and keep on doing it? I can see if people paid for tickets.
Right.
But like, hey, man, if you guys are going to be doing this shit, I'm doing this for you guys. I don't even have to be here. Going to continue this shit? We're fucking gone. 2003, Alameda County Sheriff's Office initiated a 2-year investigation into the possibility of a second Angels member having taken part in the stabbing. Finding insufficient support for this hypothesis and reaffirming that Pissarro acted alone, The office closed the case for good on the 25th of May, 2005. You know why? Because they're like, man, we got to get him on something. Maybe we can find people that were willing to say something else.
Maybe, I bet you it was Sonny that did it.
Right.
The Altamont concert is often contrasted with the Woodstock Festival that took place fewer than 4 months earlier. While Woodstock represented peace and love, Altamont came to be viewed as the end of the hippie era and the de facto conclusion of the late 60s American youth culture. Altamont became, whether fairly or not, a symbol for the death of the Woodstock nation. Rock music critic Robert Christgau wrote in 1972 that writers focus on Altamont not because it brought on the end of an era, but because it provided such a complex metaphor for the way an era ended. Yeah, because the 60s started all peace and love, and then you descended into the Vietnam War, and just 70s were fucking...
Dude, yeah, like beginning of 70 and 71, it was just insanity. And then disco came. It was even worse.
Fucking ruined it for everybody.
Holy shit. Writing for The New Yorker in 2015, Richard Brody argued that what Altamont ended was the idea that left to their own inclinations and stripped of the trappings of the wider social order, the young people of the new generation will somehow spontaneously create a higher, gentler, more loving grassroots order. What died at Altamont is the Rousseauian dream itself. More contemporary perspectives challenge that since the Manson family murders, also ascribed to countercultural hippies, occurred even before Woodstock.
Okay. The music magazine Rolling Stone, in a 14-page, 11-author article on the event, 11 authors, entitled "The Rolling Stones' Disaster at Altamont, Let It Bleed." Published in their January 21st, 1970 issue, stated that Altamont was the product of diabolical egotism, hype, ineptitude, money manipulation, and, at base, a fundamental lack of concern for humanity.
Yeah, it kind of was.
The article covered the many issues with the event's organization and was very critical of the organizers and the Rolling Stones.
Right.
One writer stated, "What an enormous thrill it would have been for an angel to kick Mick Jagger's teeth down his throat."
Oh, wow.
Jeez, dude.
There's a lot of stories about Mick Jagger.
Yeah, obviously. Like I said, concert people knew how... Must have attracted some fucking ragtag group of people coming to their concerts if they all wanted hundreds of thousands of dollars up front.
Right. Another follow-up piece in Rolling Stone called the Altamont event, Rock and Roll's All-Time Worst Day. In Esquire magazine, Ralph Gleason observed the day the day that Rolling Stones played there, the name Altamont became etched in the minds of millions of people who love pop music and who hate it as well. If the name Woodstock has come to denote the flowering of one phase of the youth culture, Altamont has come to mean the end of it. Oh, wow.
Well, the film Gimme Shelter was criticized by Pauline Kael, Vincent Canby, and other reviewers for portraying the Stones too sympathetically and for staging a concert for the sole reason that it could be filmed, despite all the problems leading up to it. Salon, the magazine, Michael Sragro, writing in 2000, said that many of the critics took their cues from the Rolling Stone review, which heavily blamed the filmmakers for being part of a staged event so that the Rolling Stones could profit from making a concert film.
Right.
Said like one of the very first ones. Srago pointed out numerous errors in the Rolling Stones coverage and added that the Maisleys did not make major motion pictures in the traditional way. Instead, a variety of factors contributed to the tragedy. Maybe a bunch of drug-fueled drunken fucking teenagers.
It was a shit show from the very beginning. Rolling Stone's Keith Richards was relatively sanguine about the show. He said, basically well handled, but lots of people were tired, and a few tempers got frayed. And on the whole, a good concert. They've probably seen worse. The Grateful Dead wrote several songs about it. Or in response to what lyricist Robert Hunter called the Altamont Affair, including New Speedway Boogie, featuring the line, "One way or another, this darkness got to give." And Mason's Children. Both songs were written and recorded during sessions from the early 1970 album Working Man's Dead. But Mason's Children was not included on the album at all.
All right. Well, Altamont also inspired the Blue Oyster Cult song Transmaniacon MC. MC means motorcycle club, really. The opening track of their first album. The incident is mentioned in the 96 film Cable Guy in a scene where Jim Carrey's character Chip Douglas performs Somebody to Love on karaoke. Yeah. You might recognize this song as performed by Jefferson Airplane in a little rockumentary called Gimme Shelter about the Rolling Stones and their nightmare at Altamont. That night, the Oakland chapter of the Hells Angels had their way. Tonight, it's my turn. Don't you want somebody to love?
Great movie.
That whole scene's like fuck.
Great movie. 2004, Australian electronic psych group Black Cab released their debut LP, Altamont Diary. It was a concept album based on the concert and its cultural fallout. The LP features a cover of New Speedway Boogie. Altamont is also referenced by Don McLean in the song American Pie, in the song's fifth verse, the majority of which contains symbols related to Altamont. Jack Flash, they reference the San Francisco Candlestick, though that the venue had nothing to do with the actual concert. Sympathy for the Devil. Oh, the Devil, but it's actually Sympathy for the Devil. An enraged spectator watching someone on stage and an angel born in the hell.
Oh, okay. McLean officially refused to confirm or deny the song's ties to Altamont until he sold his songwriting notes in 2015.
Oh.
Within the context of the song, Altamont served as a culmination of a period that had begun with the plane crash that killed Buddy Holly, Richie Valens, and the Big Bopper, during which things were headed in the wrong direction, and life was becoming less idyllic. It's the day the music died, man.
Today, 2008, former FBI agent asserted that some members of the Angels had conspired to murder Mick Jagger in retribution for the Rolling Stones' lack of support following the concert, and for the negative portrayal of the Angels in the Gimme Shelter film. The conspirators reportedly used a boat to approach a residence where Jagger was staying on Long Island, and that was in New York. The plot failing when the boat was nearly sunk by a storm. Jagger's spokesperson has refused to even comment on this matter.
And they don't have it in here, but Sonny Barger also is on record as saying if we wanted to kill him, he's been in London a whole bunch of times, and those boys over there don't play around. We could easily take him out.
What did they say earlier? If we want to do something, it gets done.
All right.
I mean, come on, they ain't lying. January 2022, Library of Congress shared 30-minute clip of soundless footage shot from the stage at Altamont. So that's
okay.
The library obtained the footage from the Prelinger archives.
Okay.
Cool for the Library of Congress.
And that was the Altamont Free Concert.
Shit show from the very beginning. Venue after venue after venue after venue after venue after venue being changed.
And like I said, again, the Rolling Stones. What kind of fucking concerts were they putting on anyway?
And the dude that had the shittiest venue for a concert was like, hey, you can use mine.
We're so desperate to do the little video, probably.
See,
and
the thing is,
we'll do it anywhere.
We're going to put 200,000 people on a hill, and you guys at the bottom.
And they're all going to be on LSD and meth. Good luck. Jeez.